Okay, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I am Lady Love, and this is a remedy to poison where we remove the veil and talk about a variety of different topics that we were psychologically programmed to believe, receive, adapt to, with, and for. And we'll give you a little bit of the remedy from my perspective. Today, I have a guest on the show. His name is.
Well, I'm honored to be here. First of all, my name is Tyrone Dwayne Wilson Sr., and I'm here to give a perspective on topics that I feel humanity need to discuss and awaken and have consciousness and awareness of in these times.
Okay, okay. All right, so in your own words, what is awakening? Because that is one of our starting topics that we're going to be talking about. Because recently I've been talking more about the subject of the awakening. So, in your own words, what is awakening?
There are several types of awakenings, from spiritual, mental, habit wise, depending on your nature and what level you went through. It's a point though that one reaches that he or she can no longer remain the same.
What awakening is awakening to universal truth, to spirituality, to soul evolution. That is what an awakening actually is. And so, how long ago do you say that you awakened?
Like I said, actually, as a young child, I had several awakening moments in my life, undesirable blessed moments that few humans rarely experience once.
Mm-hmm.
But at the age of 12, I decided to give my life to God and didn't even know how I would do it. But I actually tried, and I've been on that journey ever since. And it's been an amazing journey. Only God could write it.
And it actually is a beautiful journey. I just came to the understanding of what a spiritual awakening is, and I've actually experienced my own about 6 months ago. And when I delved a little bit more into the topic, you actually can have more than one. You can have several spiritual awakenings. And after I've awakened, to that awareness, I see that there are more people awakening as well. So I think that is something that is good for us to be able to have this conversation about. Because when I was going through my awakening, I thought that I was the only one at first, especially the only one within my immediate environment who have experienced such things. You know what I mean?
And maybe at that time you were. This last shed, I call it layers of awakening and higher levels of consciousness. The longer you go and the more aware and the more conscious you become, and becoming the great grandeur person that you could create, that becoming is the most beautiful traveling road that one can travel in life, is becoming his greatest version of him or herself. So, once you get on that road and you understand that God is with you, it's just amazing to see what he can do, especially when you trust him deeply in your heart.
Right.
And it's different layers, and time brings different trials and tribulations he'll bring you through, and you'll know that he's there.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's exactly what a spiritual awakening is waking up to the not just the 3D reality, because we're not just living in a 3D reality or a physical reality. We're living in a spiritual one as well. And that's something that unfortunately we were not taught in our church. Was you taught about spirituality growing up in church?
No, he was not taught it, but it was it was it was something that shouldn't even be discussed. Like, it was forbidden to even discuss these things, to even wonder out of curiosity, out of understanding, not out of rebellion, but just out of understanding. It was something that people didn't want to discuss, and I'm here now to bring that to the light as well, on spirituality and reality,
Right.
and the conflict that they try to bring with science and spirituality. That's a topic that I want to get on to about and clear that up once and for all for those who love God and science.
Okay.
For those who love God and science, it is two different mechanisms that people are trying to compete. Science does not tell you that there's no God. It tells you that it can test, it can measure phenomenons. If it measures and it comes out with a precise equation for that.
Okay.
That is science, an understanding of a phenomenon. God is totally different. Just because you understand how a phenomenon is being performed, it's not saying God didn't perform it. But we need to get out there and learn to put those two together. I believe they're going to work together and be amazing in the future.
Because I definitely think that it intertwines. Universal God intertwines. The connection between science and biblical knowledge, or our God, where we get our word from, is equal in two. So when I was explaining on this topic of how we came to be awakened, I did not I didn't intertwine the two. I compared the two, and I said that we're going to meet in the middle, because that's ultimately what it is about. Now, people gravitate towards believing in one over the other, which everybody have their right to believe what they want to believe.
I mean, I want it to be clear that they are divided in its own perspective. The only perspective, the perspective that I believe the religious people get twisted with science, is that the morality of the person performing the action. God is not sitting back looking at a person and saying, oh, you're a bad person or a good person. If you align yourself with these scientific proofs, I'm going to not bless you with that law that's going to be the outcome of it. It doesn't matter whether you're a good or a bad moral person. It's a lot of morally bad, what we consider morally bad people are prospering like hell. Not because of God choosing favor them, because they understand the physicality of manifestation and understand what the universe, how the universe plays a role with us. We're one with it.
Okay.
So understanding it is understanding yourself.
Okay.
From the macro aspect of it is the bigger and the large objects in space. The micro is the human anatomy. Once you understand your human body is basically just like the galaxies and stars. They say it look just like it if you just zoom in on it. So you're actually created from the universe, and you understand how to align yourself with the creative force that creates. That gives you an advantage more than having just a strong God understanding, because having that God understanding has nothing to do with your manifestation, with your reality. And that's why so many Christian people and good people are suffering, because they sitting back and believing that they have no creative power that God had gave us as a birthright. It was a birthright to give all humans the creative power to be in His image. And one, in my opinion, and several other opinions, is that we are all a part of the all on different vibrational frequencies. And therefore, if I don't like your frequency, I need to look into myself and understand why God allowed your frequency to exist.
In your reality, right?
In my reality, or exist on this realm.
Okay.
Who am I to not like or what like?
Okay.
I need to check myself. I think humans need to check themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We saying this person so bad because our mamas taught us that, our daddies taught us that. You go overseas, it's people that's cannibals.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a guy say, "Hey man, what's one of your greatest regrets?" To a cannibal, "Man, I only got 9 heads. My brother got 13." To us, that's horrible.
That's horrible.
To them, their culture brought them up different. They they wanted heads,
Mm-hmm.
but who are we? You know, I don't vibe that way, but I understand it's just the frequency. I don't judge it no more. I don't label it good or evil.
Mm.
And then they know if you have a house divided, it won't stand. And a lot of church folks want to say they have the devil and God. And no, you have your whole you. You are not only light, you are some dark.
Right.
You have bad and good. What you consider bad and good, I consider light and dark.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay, fair enough. We are, our light and our dark, but that is from my own understanding that we are light and darkness, and to embody both, then that is your evolution.
That's when you become whole.
That is when you become whole. Yes.
When you, because fighting that shadow and fighting that demon, what they call,
Mm-hmm.
it put us in a box to fight. They already knew our life would be miserable.
Mm-hmm.
When I stopped labeling my negative emotions demonic and just a part of me,
Yeah.
even though I don't agree with it, I understand it. I understand how to use it when necessary. And at the end of the day, I don't judge it no more and say, oh, that's bad or this good and this God and this the devil. I look at, like I said,
Well, because the Bible tells us that it is we're fighting our flesh and our spirit, right? So our and scientifically we're fighting or battling our subconscious mind with our higher conscious mind. So I guess you're saying that it's different. You don't have to put a term on it. That's what you do. You don't have to put a term on it when it's one and the same.
it's just one side of another coin. Like if you got love, you got the worst hate. If you got joy, you got pain. But in the between are infinite frequencies, infinite notches.
Mm-hmm.
And those might be a notch that each person might be who haven't found their person yet. Like I know who I am. I know what I desire to be with God. I know what I ask God to be. So therefore, at the end of the day, I vibrate on that higher level.
Okay.
So that's personal choice of liking.
Mm-hmm.
It's some people that choose dark side.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, the word of God said he did not. I don't get where the church teach those that believe in the Lord that there are any jeopardy at all of them going to hell. That was one thing that the church needs to clarify as well to a believer. A believer in the Bible shows how Jesus lead 99 to get one. And he says if one, he's not losing nothing that he intended to save. So if he intended to save you, you're gonna come into that blessedness one day. The goodness of God will lead you to it. And that's what led me. When I realized how good he was, it wasn't about the fear.
Mm-hmm.
It was about when I read about how dependable, how reliable, how faithful, how loving, how merciful, and how enduring he was.
Okay.
That's what made me say I'd burn in hell with a dude like that. I'd rather go to hell with him than live in heaven with the devil. And at the end of the day,
Now hold on, because you said you'd rather burn in hell with him than live
in
in
heaven
heaven with the devil.
If God,
What does that mean? Because are you saying that God isn't who we've been taught he was?
well, no, I'm saying that from a perspective of dealing with spirits all my life. I had a conversation once with the devil or the enemy, whatever you want to call him. And he gave me a perception. He said, hey, man, what if I beat God? Just think about it. all the hoopla, who to say God won this battle? All the world's gonna know is violence. As long as this world spin, it's gonna be a murder. He was telling me all these things that as long as this world go, he Gucci. He ain't worried about a damn thing. And I felt his presence. And I went to God like, hey man, the man making good sense of, hey,
Oh, well, now, that's where I have to stop you there and disagree. I'd rather be with God because I had an encounter with God myself. And with my encounter was when you had that encounter, you have to repent. Maybe you had an encounter that you thought was the devil, but it was actually God, but you just didn't repent to that energy, to that whatever that was. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't know your experience personally, but for me, when
really?
I felt the anger,
And you feel it. And
I
you
felt
feel
the
like he'll
anger
blow you
and
up
I
if
have
you didn't-
feared it.
I mean, like
When
and
I
you-
feared that presence, when I felt that presence, I feared it. I was scared. I didn't know what it was. But whatever it was, because it didn't speak, I just felt its presence. I felt its anger because I knew what I had done. What I had done was wrong. It was against what it tells us we shouldn't be doing in this Bible. And so I repented. When I repented, that presence felt like peace. Felt like all of the fruits of the Spirit. And it was a change that I started to embark on walking with that presence. Now, I don't want to disappoint God because if God gives you something as far as like maybe an assignment to do or something, I don't want to disappoint God. And yes, I'm supposed to fear. Everybody's supposed to fear God. I think we should fear God because what has happened was since we have taken the fear out of not fearing our Creator, the world is divided. That's the trick of the enemy to get you to
have fear though. Do you really believe in invoking fear would change that?
Invoking fear on other people to
to be afraid of God to do right by each other. That's what they basically doing now. They're basically saying if you don't be in this religion, you're gonna burn. This was saying
No, because it doesn't matter what denomination you are. It's only one God. No matter what you choose to believe in, there's only one God. They just call him something different.
Yeah.
But still above myself, I don't fear no man, woman, or child walking this earth, but I do fear God.
And I want you to understand it's a good fear. But at the end of the day, understand fear is the opposite of love, not hate. Hate is not the opposite of... When you have no fear, love conquers fear. Love has no fear in it at all. To where you have no... When I go to God, I'm not worried about... I used to be... Because they say... I disagree with perspectives of the Bible. Like, if you read the Bible and say... It says... to those that walk in the Spirit is no condemnation now. Okay, that was Romans, I believe, somewhere around 7, 8 chapter. He was talking about he was falling short. He was falling short in his sin. Every time he wanted to do the right thing, but he found himself doing the things that he hated. And he considered himself a wretched man. And he said, I thank my God that now I serve God myself, but with this body I serve the Lord sin and death. Who shall deliver me from this body of death? And he thanked the Lord. And he say, now that I'm walking in the Spirit now. He considered that walking in the Spirit to me when he was wanting to do the right things and he did wrong. That was walking in the Spirit. The church folk ideal of walking in the Spirit typically is not doing that wrong thing. And then making you feel bad knowing they already know that you will not meet up to those laws. I hate to bust your little bubble, baby, but You're gonna as soon as you realize to take it easy on yourself, the better off you'll be. Because don't nobody in no right mind, if you believe in God, would want you to be suffering because of something that you could not fight or really was ashamed of or really regretted. There's nowhere in hell that God that loved you would want you to feel bad while you walk through that.
Well, I mean, I would want to do my best not to disappoint God, but that is why we're supposed to crucify our flesh. When we crucify our flesh and we're walking in the Spirit, we're walking in the Spirit with Spirit, for Spirit. So we're giving ourselves the offering. So back in the Old Testament, the offering was a lamb, right? But when Jesus came to walk the earth, then Jesus was the lamb to clear out away all our debt. And so now that we have that representation of what that is, now we know that we can crucify our own flesh for God, to walk in the Spirit, to be less able to commit those sins or those things that are no good.
Okay, I'm listening to you. But I wanted you to, I was going to the Romans, what Romans 7 is about. I just wanted to, what is God's role in the law? Why does believers still struggle with sin if the law is good? The law is good, but if it cannot save or transform the human heart. Okay, now this is the word. Paul is very clear. So the law is holy, and the commandment is holy, righteous and good. God's law reveals what's righteous. Revelation is. Man, I wish we kept going with the word. I want to read this.
Okay, because let's go back to what he said earlier. The law is holy, right? That is what Jesus was. Jesus was the only man that was holy and free of sin. So now, when you crucify your flesh, now you're going to be walking in the Spirit. Now you have your redemption. Your redemption is there. Now you have been cleared of all depths that your flesh had made. So now that you know better and you know the laws and you walking in that spirit of walk on that walk, not say you won't fall short, but you have to always still remain in, because you are under God's law. Regardless. You have God's law and then you have the universal laws. You gotta abide by both, in my opinion. Now you can't go out here and do wrong and expect not to pay for that.
Depending on what you consider pay for it. If you consider pay
or
for
be
it,
judged. How about that? Let me correct myself. You cannot go out here and do wrong and expect not to be judged for that. You will be judged by universal law and by God's law.
So from basically what you're saying and your understanding of your spirituality journey, you still have some beliefs, basically a judgment upon yourself as a believer and as upon other believers, possibly. I get that, totally disagree.
Because if anybody is in Christ, he's new in his creation. The old has passed away, behold, the new has come. That is in 2 Corinthians 5 and 17. So it's like now we're not, because when Adam and Eve was, they're people, they were spiritual beings, right? So now that they're not spiritual anymore, and now time has passed and we're human now. We're not being judged by spiritual law. We're being judged under a different set of laws, which are the commandments. And it talks about what we're being judged for in Romans, the first chapter, how God's righteous judgments and what we're being judged for in Romans chapter 1, 28 through 30.
And I agree. This is where the average believer and me gonna part ways with that. They're gonna apply that to the believer. I'm gonna apply that to the non-believer, because And that he goes on and says, the wrath of God is revealed from heaven to those that he had already showed his Godhead to. His invisible powers, they knew. They were without excuse. They understood him. They knew his Godhead. They understood his power. They rejected him to his face. That was to those. But to this man right here, Paul, this man walked in this man said, right here, he said, for I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do, this I keep on doing. And then he goes on and says, and then it lets you know this isn't hypocrisy, it's honesty. Desire for good is present, but power is lacking. Now, when you get to that point, he said right here in the word, the words start back. What a wretched man I am. Who will rescue me from this body of death? Thanks be to God who delivers me through Jesus Christ our Lord. And then if it go on, he say, we are now walking. He said, those we walking. And I want to get to that point too. He tell him, if you're, I know better. Romans saying you're crazy, but no, that's not the word.
Because when I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, when I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, I couldn't walk this walk without God, without Jesus, without knowing who Jesus is and what he came to do and what he can do for me. Who will save me from this body of flesh? Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Now, everybody don't have to believe in Jesus Christ. That's not their mediator. Some people's mediator is the universe.
Buddha, whatever it may be.
Whatever it may be. But that was the only way that I can go within and heal myself. Because Jesus said, I will go and prepare you a way. Not only did he do that when he died for our sins, but when he come back, God said that I am close to the lowly in heart. So when you call on him because that's who you truly need. When you can't go to nobody else. You can't go to nobody else. And you call on someone. Jesus Christ is coming. He coming. And the only way that I can go within myself and crucify my flesh was through God. Because when Jesus said that nobody can come to the Father except by me, he meant exactly what he said. I couldn't get closer to God and understanding him better until I understood who Jesus was.
That's big bro. To me, like, that's big bro. But he said in his word, we're going to do greater works than he did. How can you do something greater than big bro? The only thing you can do is build on the body and make it to the level of combining it with science and taking it to the next level. That's the only way you can do something bigger than him, because he did that, and he already gave the prophecy that we will do greater things than him. Why are we still staying stuck in asking for salvation? That's done. I'm done with that. Like, I'm so,
maybe you've reached that level.
And that's the meat part.
Obtaining your salvation. I got my salvation.
Yeah,
I was already saved. Not only was I saved before I was born, but I was saved after I was born. Because the only person that took me from hell on earth was Jesus when I called on him. And that's the only man that's going to do it anytime something else was to occur. Because remember, time is still evolving. We're going to go through another point in our lives where the only person that's going to save us from the war within is...
I'm at the stage now.
But the evolution is knowing that, having your helmet of salvation, wearing your shoes of peace, your breastplate of righteousness, and your sword is your spirit. So I believe that once we crucify our flesh, right? Now we're walking in the spirit. What we have crucified is now what we pick up.
I want to know what you describe as, what is crucifixion like to you? what do you consider crucifying?
Crucifying our flesh.
Yeah.
Cutting off all of worldly distractions, abstaining from sex. This is your mind now. When you cut off all the worldly distraction and the noise.
Now, hold on. That's one thing. Man, my uncle, I used to tell him about the Bible. Now, now look here. The 2 commandments the man gave you. He said, take this and go out and be fruitful and multiply and spread the goodness of the gospel. Now, in order to go be fruitful and multiply, you got to do some bumping and grinding. Now, that's the one commandment I do like, to go be fruitful and multiply.
Well, now, wait a minute. Now, he's not just saying go and have sex and create more babies.
Be fruitful.
Being fruitful with this knowledge and go and spread that. Drop seeds all over the place so that people can understand it. Raise up your children with this knowledge of the word. That's how you multiplying, what you've learned, so you can give it to your children, so you can raise them up in the way of the word and the Lord.
Do you ever believe that it can actually come to a place on earth that believers could get past the names of what they want to call God and just worship him in truth and love? You think that can happen? With all the stipulations and all this?
I believe without, we're going to call him God and our Savior. Now, what people fail to realize is that Christians, okay, I'm a follower of Christ. I'm not, defined by the constructs of religion. Okay, so let me make that clear. But what people fail to realize is that people don't worship Jesus. We praise Jesus for what he did, right? For coming to save us from being wretched. But we worship God. That's who we worship. And I believe that everybody is doing the same thing in their own way. They just
calling it a different road.
That's it.
But it's
now, can we? Yes, we are all headed to the same place. We should not be divided by our race, by what we choose to believe in. You're either sovereign or you're not. You're either on the right side of the coin or you're on the other side of the coin.
And when you're created as a human being, you have the gift that no other creature has: consciousness, awareness, reasonable. You're able to reason. Other animals go off their instinct. They go off their pure instinct. They have no rational desires to reason or nothing. They're going off their natural instincts. God blessed us with the conscious. And I believe personally your consciousness is that aspect of God in you that observes phenomenons, because without being conscious you would not be able to observe any phenomenon at all. And when being able to have a conscious mind, to me, that's why I asked you about crucifying yourself. Crucifying myself was not necessarily so much of me what I did action-wise. It was more or less my mind, and then my heart, and then it went out action-wise. Because my mind was like Paul.
Well, that's what I said. You got to cut off all of that distraction and that noise outside to be able to come and sit with yourself. And this is the highest form of spiritual awakening, is to be able to hone that in. Because you can't just, you can't become whole without doing the inner work. So you have to cut off all of that noise to be able to sit with yourself in your just pure consciousness, silence. And then you cut off abstaining from sex for a while. so that you can release all of the other attachments that has been attached to you through other people. Now wait a minute. And also being mindful, conscious of what I eat, and also going within my heart to clear out all of that pain, trauma, heartbreak, anything that would keep me in a lower vibrative state, because I do believe that that's a part of being spiritual, is knowing that there are vibrations and stuff within you and outside of you. So now in the Bible it says that once you go within, because I'm a believer, God is going to create in you a clean heart and a renewing of the mind. Now, be not of this world, but be transformed by a renewing of the mind. You have to cut off all of those worldly distractions. And then, so when you go out, after you come into this awakening and this awakening within, because the true definition of a spiritual awakening is being aware of the universal truths and your own. So going within, once I go within, and now I'm clean, I'm sovereign, I'm complete. Now I can go out into the world with my helmet of salvation on and not be corrupted by anything outside of me. And my heart can't be corrupted. But I believe, because maybe, I had another journey, because I was awakened by a person to awaken me to my own spiritual gifts or whatever. I was activated by a person and I'm gonna ask you what your catalyst was. And then I had a death from somebody that was close to me, and then I was reborn. Okay, so I forgot where I was going with this, but nevertheless, now I can go. I was already sovereign. I was already operating under this. I already knew what I was operating under and who I was operating under before I had even woke up. So now I'm aware. Now I'm aware that who I belong to. Now I had to go in and redefine, and I allowed the word to help me redefine and understand who I am in Christ.
That's important. That's the important part that I believe spirituality and religion brings to the human. That strength of knowing and reminding him or her who and where they come from and where they're going to return.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the point of that. And at the end of the day, like I said, I totally want to make it clear and understanding with people the mechanics of performing your reality. Your reality is built upon certain mechanisms, regardless of how much you want to. I mean, you can believe in your mind that you can have morality, but if you go stick something in an electrical socket, electricity will shock you just like it'll shock a baby. It's not going to distinguish between, oh, that's a baby, let me take it a little easy. Or if you go up on a skyscraper and a adult jump off or a baby fall, gravity is going to pull them down and kill them, just like it'll kill that adult. And if you don't understand that about creation, you're going to be at a disadvantage. You're gonna, and God's so good to you though, he make it all right for those to suffer in that disadvantage. But I have an obligation, like Mark Passio. Once I understood the Hermetic system, once I understood that things constantly are in motion, vibrating, that lets me know that my emotions are constantly woo 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 woo. It tells you about rhythm. It's a flow. It's a high. You feel good. You feel bad. You understand the swing of the pendulum. You understand that cause and effect. So you start doing things that brings forth good fruit. You don't do things that brings forth bad things to you. But if you can accept them bad things happening to you, you can still be a hell of a manifester of your reality. But you're still gonna have the cause and effect come back. But people understand that and still manifest their reality. Natural Law from Mark Passio, the 52-minute seminar, explains how humans, if you really want to change your reality, you have to start with thinking different. You have to think different. You have to reprogram the system different. And at the end of the day, you have to love each other different.
Which is what it is you come and all of the illusions fall off. Purely walk in conscience. I don't know, maybe this is just my experience, but other people as well, so we can purely walk in conscience. But everybody else is going to judge everybody of what they doing. But I don't feel like we should do that if we're completely walking in our own sovereignty of our own being, our own conscious mind. Then we can change the world. But it's people like us who are awakening, who are holding the frequency for everybody else to I guess awaken. I don't know deeply on that topic or that subject. I had to do self-evolution and before I could worry about everybody else. I had to heal myself before I can go and get
That's
other
mandatory.
people out.
That's mandatory. Yeah.
But in your spiritual awakening, what was your catalyst? Because there's a catalyst to a spiritual awakening.
Well, this last one was actually experiencing the death of the ego. Meaning, I was so tired of being the person that I was that I kept saying, I want to change, I want this different, I'm tired of being this way, woo, woo, woo. But what people don't realize, you have to be so tired of being that person that person really have to die. That old person that usually react the way that it usually reacts when tempted, when pissed off, that old person have to change if you want a different reality.
Yeah.
So that was the first lesson of self-control in the Hermetic system and natural law, is controlling self and looking in the mirror. And once you can, and that's one of the hardest things to control and break.
Yes, it is.
Is your old habits, because you're so used to it. But once you break that,
What the Bible calls it crucifying. Breaking that, But I want to so now that we passed my belief, continue with what you're saying. But also I wanted you to understand that is a part of, that is a stage in the awakening, is to go through that ego death. But you had to have a catalyst that brought you there. Or maybe you was just...
I was getting high. Shit, I was actually just chilling, getting high. Normal day smoking shit, and then I heard a little voice say, "Hey man, you hit this, it's gonna kill you." And shit, me being who I was, believing in God, I went and put on my best jewelry, and I literally went and looked in the mirror, and I said, "I'm not afraid of death. I'm God's king. I've been believing in God since I was 12 years old." So, hit that blunt and damn sure killed me. Well, I'm not gonna say killed me, but I've been around death a lot, and it shut my body down the manner in which I seen it do with other people. And I seen the other side. As far as the universe, I seen the universe in the darkness. And it was beautiful, the dark and the light. It was equal, actually. Necessary to have the darkness to appreciate the light. So when people get to calling dark bad and dark that, you got to understand God created that darkness for a purpose, and it highlights the light. The light shines bright because of it. And when I seen the universe, I knew that everything that humanity done, and I done, and everybody else was in that light. And the darkness around it made it beautiful. And it made me come to a stage that I said that I'm not going to label God's creations good or bad. Because he created the devil. He created what we consider good, and he created what we consider bad. He calls peace and war. So I start tailoring my mind around understanding why instead of judging.
I like that. I like that. I think I'm there with you too. But how I came to be it is through Christ. That's just me, you know. So, but I did experience. I went through the whole stages of the awakening process with the ego death. Ugh, that was. Oh my God! And a lot of people don't make it through that.
Yeah,
Some of those stages, they stay stuck in it. Pride comes before the fall, like the Bible says. The only way we can understand the spiritual awakening was, I think, maybe the reason why we understand it is because we know and we was raised on the Bible, on Scripture.
It definitely
It helps.
intertwined and made a beautiful picture when it all came together for me. But I personally believe that it can be done better because, like, unlike you, like I said, I went when I was 12, and my biggest thing was having a sex demon, especially when I went to the military. I mean, I had $30-some thousand, 17 years old, never been with a woman, kind of, and still trying to be in church. And hell, I had this demon that not only wanted sex, it wanted different women. I wanted every woman in the.
That's carnal. That's carnal.
I couldn't fight it. I mean, literally, I just had a desire to just say, man, I was with 300 or 400 women, and at the end of the day, every time I climax, every time I would feel like the biggest goddamn fool immediately. Like, why did you do that? And I'd be beating myself up, torturing myself. I went through some hell of a torturous years feeling like I disappointed God, trying to live up to these standards that they knew I wouldn't make. They should have never had me believing that was the determination of walking in the Spirit when that man in Romans said he walking in the Spirit when he doing wrong. And he willed to do good.
Well,
just because he willed to do good,
yeah,
and he did that he did not want to, the love of God was so strong that he loved that man so much that he said, man, it wasn't you that did it. It was the sin that dwelt within you. Why can't a human accept the blessedness that God loved you that much? They gonna want to kill me because I'm telling them how much God loved me. Because all I'm saying, God loved you that much to say it wasn't even you.
right.
I wash your sins as white as snow. I throw that shit as far as the east is from the west. Only way to do it to say it wasn't even you. And that's what, when I hear your story and I hear the sadness in the child of God that's feeling like she's disappointing their creator, somebody that they'll go to hell and die for, that hurt me to see you go through that, because I know I went through that, and that's not my reality of truth with God. That shouldn't even be taught. That means you should not have that conscience to where you actually have to worry about any part of sin no more. Once you change your mind, the cross is, to me, is at the mind. When you come to the mind's place in your mind and say, I'm at a point now I can go this way or that way, and I choose to go this way. I crossed over to this side, and I ain't never going back that way. Even if I do slip up and fuck around and fuck up, I ain't never told God that I don't love him. Even if I did fuck up a million, I ain't never said I wanted to backslide. You said I wanted to backslide because of what you seen me do. But my heart never changed, and it ain't for nobody else to judge.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I don't believe you should have that on you, or no other person that believe in God should have that on them, because that was a hurtful thing that I went through, and it took. But like I said, I'm on some meat shit now, but to go through disappointing God, man, that's what ended me up in the crazy house when I realized the universe was beautiful with the light and the dark, because all my life I've been taught that the dark was so bad. All my life I've been taught that this was not necessary. evil is necessary in the scope of our creative God, or he wouldn't have done it. And the purpose of it is to value the good more. He know the remedy to do it. We just going through it. But when you go through it, it'll be a better, beautiful diamond in the end. But don't let them tell you that you're not walking in the spirit with your mind. That's how much he loves you. When you will to do the right thing, he said, I love you so much, you walking in the spirit now. And if you read Romans, he going to go on to tell you that you're walking in the spirit and there's no condemnation to those that are in Christ that's walking in the spirit. And that's what he considered walking in the spirit, was when he was fucking up. And I was like, when I read that years ago, I was like, now why wouldn't the man... And then even the first part of Romans, like the first part of Romans, it tells you basically the wrath of God is not revealed against those who he chose.
Yeah.
He preordained or predestinated, justified, redeemed, and glorified those that they wanted to save. So why is we getting twisted up like we might get caught up? If you get caught up, you wasn't meant to be. You was already vibrating low from the start. So is you going where you want to go? God the type he give you what you want. Even the swines, hey, you want to go? Well, go ahead, go on. And when you read that, it's going to explain to you that he's telling you, believer, I got you. You are saved. Before you was known, I knew you before you was in the womb. Now you that's not mine, and you seen my God there, you understood me, nigga. You looked me in my face and understood my power and rejected. Boy, ain't no excuse for you. But I ain't never seen God. You haven't never seen him. No human has. But it's a creation that has. That creation is what he's talking about. The wrath of God is for. In my opinion.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm still studying. You know what I'm saying? Not just reading it, but I'm studying it. And you've got, years on me. I understand where you coming from and how you come to that.
Other, but trust me, God's so good, this helping me just as much as it's helping you. Yeah. I need this too.
But like you say, with the sin of like sexual sin, which was the sin that I don't want to do anymore before marriage, because there is consequence. There's a consequence to having sex before marriage.
Very,
and I don't want to pay that toll anymore. You know what I'm saying?
I'm old. I'm through. I've had babies, women especially, y'all can have babies. And then, like, these days, it's very deadly. So,
there's a toll to pay. I don't want to pay that toll no more. So,
it's just not really worth it these days.
It's not. So, okay, now, being aware and awake of the epidemic of more awakenings happening across the world, what change do you want to see? Because aside from the soul evolution, which is the highest form of awakening, what do you want to see happen in the world?
I want humanity to wake up and realize that we're actually one. Whether you're Russian, Chinese, Mexican, white or black, you're a human. And let's go to civilization type 1. Let's up the ante. And they got that Kirscher scale of civilization shit I've been looking into. I believe if we train our minds correctly, come up with the correct way of teaching for the future, that it'll be very possible for us to achieve those dreams way before they expect it. Because a mind is the most powerful thing it is on earth, and it's a gift of God. And he gave us that gift to where if you desire to align your mind and body and spirit together, you could achieve anything you believe. And that's the truth about the natural law of being God on the micro level. Because you are and we are in his image. And therefore we can create in his manner. And we need to start using our Godhead powers together on one accord, one natural alliance, to stop the misuse and abuse of power to the 1% or 2% that holds this knowledge and use it for their devious benefits.
Yeah, like people, the elites know this.
Been knowing it hundreds of years.
Yeah, because I was watching that Napoleon video where he's talking about the power of the mind along with universal laws. No matter how you got there, whether you got it through Christ or even no matter what you believe in, the ultimately the power of the mind is the strongest for all people to wield a better future.
And believing it, believing that, and going into that emotion, and embracing that emotion, sparking a vibrational frequency inside of your brain and your mind that causes reality to collapse and give you the desires of one's mind. And that's the truth of the knowledge of the Hermetic system and natural law. It explains how natural law is, and it's an inherent wrong when you sit back and don't do something when you see natural law being broken, in my opinion. You ask me, what do I want to see humans do? It's not about what or how strong is. I heard a wise man say it's not about how good you can fight. It's about what you're fighting for. And right now, I don't think we're fighting for nothing. We need to fight for something. And right now, those that are awakened, we need to come together and stand together. And stand together as one. And at some point, demand our birthrights given to us. Because the 1% can't do it if we don't want them to. We don't have to do what they tell us. And a lot of it's been held back, systematically handed out to us, knowing that we're automatically going to put ourselves in a box when you believe certain beliefs. I've learned to talk different. The universal language is something that needs to be understood. It's like a waiter. The universe is like a waiter, and you eating at his table. If you go up to that waiter and, man, I want some food, a bunch of food, a whole lot of food. That waiter don't understand that. You need to be vivid with your imagination when you dream this stuff. You need to walk in the belief in it, have the faith that it's going to happen, that God gave you. That combined with your mind and with the powers God gave you as a birthright, the strong elite held it to themselves, knowing that there are laws that govern creations like gravity, nuclear energy, electromagnetism. Those are forces that the human eye can't see, but we know exist. And at the end of the day, we know that these systematic hermetic system has been proven to work. That's what science do, is test and it proves, and it explains it. And that's what it's doing now. And science need to come together with spirituality, and we need to come up with a way to create our better reality. Because the way you create reality, it's a group of people that's sitting back, plotting, saying, hey, if we all mastermind this together, everybody else is gonna follow suit. If they setting these invisible guards. If you like the states, if you go up and fly in an airplane, you can't tell Texas from Louisiana, Oklahoma, or nothing. They putting these invisible lines in there, making you feel like you can't go somewhere, but you can, and you just accepted it. But now we got technology, and I want to know what happens if we just decide that we don't want this democracy anymore. Respectfully denounce it for the Venus Project,
Okay.
or for another option.
And how does the Venus Project support that understanding?
To me, it is a very innovative way to utilize the resources, to share the resources amongst each other, um, to cut down on a lot of the crime, a lot of the misuse of power with money and
Because you said something earlier that stuck out to me is that getting rid of money is a great start to this human evolution.
that's gonna be a while too. I know it's gonna take them. It's gonna have to be implemented and integrated. It's gonna have to be integrated, but they have a process for that too, called the Prometheus Project. They got a process of transferring from our current situation to the Venus Project. I believe it's called the Prometheus Project or something. But they already have a Venus Project in Florida somewhere where they built but they built homes and stuff like it. This guy, Jacques Fresco, is a very, very, very intelligent guy that came up with one of the greatest ideas that I believe humanity haven't even really heard of. The bulk of humanity haven't heard of. If they have, they would have been denounced Democrats and Republicans and said, I want that. And the only person that would not want that would be the one that's holding the information from us and holding and telling us lies.
Yeah.
The only person that would not want that is them. So we need to get rid of them. Or they need to accept us for what we are now as being awakened and deal with it.
Yeah.
Or else they're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, because I've already seen like the building constructions all over, but it's just like, retreats and stuff for people to just go away and get away and be at peace. But it's not like places that is, teachings. It doesn't have the teachings in some of these places, but they're the
The infrastructure.
the infrastructure. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's really bulking up, and me myself and the people that understand it, I encourage them to promote it once if you understand it and like it.
Because
Definitely.
I've heard about the Venus Project. I think it was like years ago, and it kind of just like went away. But I love that idea. In a perfect world, I love that idea.
And it would not be perfect for the first 2 to 3 generations, but after that, if we was to implement this globally,
Yes.
if it was to be globally within 2 or 3
Let's start
generations,
now.
if we just to say at 2028, from that point on, every kid born from 2028 is going to be taught a certain way. And that's just that. From 2028 on up, is going to be taught this, that, and that, the other. By the time that kid has kids and they have kids, they would be in a perfect world. That's just like with my dad and them experienced racism. Like actually white only sinks and shit. By the time I came up, my generation, we had a few little weird eyes and shit looking at us. Here, little nigga, that, but all the white hoes loved us. And now it's like my little boy, my mixed kids, shit, they have no idea of interact. Like it's normal. They don't have no flack of interracial dating. That'd be the same with the Venus Project.
Which
It'll
is it's a infrastructure to completely transform what we have now, but it's going to have a place where it's no social division, no class division, no racial division. Who is going to teach humans what we're going to need to know to help us with our well-being? Right.
and that's
That's
pretty
what the
much it.
Venus Project is
And
about.
being more innovative on technology and space and exploring and discovering more discoveries, more inventions, more technologies. That is what the Venus Project focuses more on for the human mind. And all the strenuous work, all the back-breaking labor, repetitive things that's done can be actually done by robots easy. And far as cooking, cleaning, everything can be done by robots. And actually, the amount of money we spend on wars and all that stuff, we shouldn't have a hungry person in America. But the current system that we're under thrives off having hunger. It thrives off having wars. It thrives off having.
Which I don't understand that.
That's how it makes money, because okay, if I'm the number one dog, I already got money. I need to make money. The only way I can make money now, if I got it all, is to go either start a war now, where I can say, okay, I'm gonna give the contract to you to make these foods for these soldiers. That's a quadrillion zillion dollars worth of food that you making off this bullshit ass MREs that I'm gonna give to you. You gonna bust that down with all the rest of us. Then I'm gonna got this defense shit that's going on that we spending hundreds of millions on too. That we need these weapons, and I'm gonna sell that contract to him, my partner over there.
Yeah.
And that's how it's making money. Then we're gonna tear all that shit up, and then we're gonna make these other motherfuckers that's pawns, we're gonna get them to go work over there and make them think it's some good. They think they getting money, but really, dummy, you getting slave drove.
Yeah.
You getting slave drove. You worse than the slave than they was when they had with a whip. Because at least when the slave had with the whip, he ain't had to pay for goddamn food and shelter.
Which you served. You served.
Yeah.
So you know.
And at the end of the day, I already know that I'll never talk down on my country, because that's not a productive situation, and I don't see nothing positive coming out of it. I'm only for positive results. So I see things it could have been done better, and it could be done better, and I want that. And if people want that for the country, they'll understand that we are at a crossroads like hell with China and the world. We are not going to be the superpower in the next 15, 20 years or less if we don't do something drastic. And the only thing I could think of now is the Venus Project. It's to kick it off, show the world how innovative we are, and stop fighting with each other and killing your own goddamn civilians and shit, and talking down about your own people. I mean, y'all really need to take that in advice too. You get nowhere by talking down on your leadership or your people, because these are some God-fearing people that just really want to be left alone. And then y'all violating a lot of their private rights by invading their homes with these level body armors, weaponry. These not weaponries of normal police officers, body armor police officers, but y'all don't want the civilians to have that type of armor. And it's just a big bully system, and it really don't get you nowhere seeing who can pistol farthest. And really, you're gonna make your country even hate you more. So we just need to just smarten up and get it together.
Yeah. Because it's The lot of, and that's what's happening now with the veil thinning as far as this 3D reality, is that all of the big dogs are going down.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of them that's in the Democratic parties and the well, first is the entertainment industry. They're falling first, but then there's other.
I believe all of them, even the ones that Putin, all the Lewinsky, whatever he is, Zawinski, over there in Ukraine. I believe all of them high fiving behind the scenes. Because if at the end of the day, how the hell you gonna be? If I'm at war with you, how we gonna be sitting right across from each other and we get along? We get along. I got mansions and stuff in your house, in your country. The Russians got all kind of embassies. We got mansions over there. They doing this shit because they done built these powerful weapons, mass destruction. And that's something else we need to talk about as humans. And why do we allow the government to have that type of destructive power over us? Do you realize that America has a protocol called MAD, Mutually Assured Destruction, that if necessary they push a button and blow up the fucking earth? They got enough nukes to do that. And not only us, it's other countries that has the same protocol. Why do we allow this shit as humans when we can say, hey man, we don't want that red button gonna kill us. It ain't gonna kill your ass. You gonna go down in a bunker somewhere. We don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we just say, hey, whatever it is, man, I don't want this red button for my country or yours. We gonna get together and say, hey man, put this bullshit aside and live life and thrive.
Right. Why can't we all just thrive together?
It should just be that simple. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't get. I mean, maybe so long, like with the Jews and the Palestinians, they've been fighting for so long. I guess once you have so much death, of losing so much family,
Yeah, like that.
it just goes on in generation to generation. But at some point, it gotta stop.
Right.
At some point, you gotta stop it.
Like what can we do? What can the system do better? Let us have a say, I guess.
I think what we do and what we should do is stop being bitches and start fighting for something instead of saying I'm not worried about it because it's not me.
Right. You know, and I totally agree with that because like our leaders fought for something, fought for us to get here to this point, but the fight is not over.
It really
It's
just
not over.
begun.
Now we on a whole nother fighting, another level of having to fight a different level. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, new levels, new devils. We on a whole nother level world. We got to fight a new devil.
Yeah.
And if everybody is just sitting back and saying, well, this doesn't apply to me, some stuff don't apply. Like whatever a man has fallen for, because some of those leaders are falling because of the Epstein files and all of that stuff that's coming out in social media nowadays.
I haven't seen them fall, really. I mean, they might have
That's
had
true.
a few black eyes, a few don't do that no more. But I ain't seen nobody take no big fall. Shit.
Other than the a couple of
Even Giselle. The biggest one I seen was Giselle. She been there for a minute. But other than her, who shit, the Prince Charles brother, they took him off of being the prince. Shit, he still got gazillions of billions of dollars. But shit, who else? Just them. They ain't naming nobody else. But saying they keeping the names covered because of this and then that shit go back to.
they released some names, didn't they? I don't know. I don't follow that shit because it don't.
They saying they released pages. But as far as names and shit, I don't know no major players that they said that they found that for what they said they didn't find too much of shit. Other than the people that was too young to mention, or
On the
that
Epstein files, they did release some names.
I didn't see it.
Oh yeah, they did release some names.
Only name I seen was the Prince Charles brother, or whatever his name. But Andrew, Prince Andrew, he got kicked out of his little castle.
What they said? They did release some names, and I don't know. I don't really delve into that because it's
Yeah,
like I already
I already knew what it was gonna be anyway.
that's been going on. I mean, first of all, it's wrong.
To
And
who?
then that's wrong for them to be sex trafficking women
That ain't
and
sex. It's sex trafficking after the fact. She said it was sex trafficking, but before it was just I'm coming up on some action cashing, and she went along with it. He went along with it. The world. And now when you
no,
get
they saying they was drugging those women. Them women was unconscious and had no idea. They got videos and pictures of women
so,
being unconscious and men just doing whatever. And some of these women were underage. That's absolutely wrong.
that's true, but at the end of the day,
And then
eh,
they say that they're sacrificing babies.
I believe they sacrificing over there in Gaza. All of man, you know how many thousands of people got killed? 80, 90,000, 100,000. Like that is totally like Orange, Beaumont, Port Arthur, shit, Port Nature's, all our whole goddamn
Golden Triangle.
more. It's only 20,000 people in Orange. You got 100 some thousand people got killed in Gaza. And you got 20,000, 25,000, 20, 30,000 in Beaumont, whatever. Shit, you got maybe 60,000 between Orange and Beaumont and Port Arthur.
Well, they've been sacrificing people, sex trafficking women, and children. All of these children is going missing because they're being taken and they're being taken to these places where these people are doing strange things and selling them off for whatever reason.
They
Just
doing all kind
wild.
of
It's
like
just wild. It's just crazy. It's wrong, and they should pay for what they done. And then once they figure out who in the hell is all involved, then we need to take the next step into
Or what?
deciding on we should well, like you said, the government, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, because it's not helping us going to war.
It's not. And they're not in our interests. They're not working in our interests. When will you get that? The Democrats and Republicans, like I hear my mama talk, oh, the Democrats. I'm like, woman, please. They are no better than the Republicans. They shut down the government just like they told the Republicans not to. And they do exactly what they want to do when it's beneficial to them. They still in the same cahoots with war and money. They still in the same cahoots with scarcity and occulting certain hidden knowledge from the mass. Therefore, you can have no type of equality. And when you realize that, that's when you'll be like, we need an entirely new system. We need to destroy it, rebuild it, and come up with a whole nother. Some smart people need to come together to understand how to implement spirituality with reality, with science, because it's to the point and level that those cannot be denied, and they have to be intertwined in order to do greater works than Christ. And that would be the way that would save us from time. If we just be like, man, we on this Venus Project shit, we gonna show the world how it is to lead the world with this innovative way of economic resource-based living, where everybody is like shit, Astro World or Disney World is already there. Shit, it's not like they gotta build that shit. Put your goddamn pass in for your family. Just take your family on a trip and then set that shit up. Every amenity on Earth should be able to be accessible with proper documentation. And,
I don't know.
and then it's already set up for the satellites. They don't have to build no more goddamn satellites to get to use the cell phone. They ain't for the money we paying for cell phone use. Man, they ain't probably made no upgrades to them satellites probably, and I don't know when. Since when they first shot the motherfuckers up there. It's still making money off the first day it's been up there. That's how much money these motherfuckers making. And it ain't costing them a dime more to make no more goddamn internet connection. They can just cut us on and off and let us use it.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff a lot of the stuff that we was given for free as our God given universe, everything in here, we shouldn't be paying for this. That man who invented the light bulb, he didn't charge a daggone dollar.
And you know the real truth about that too, Tesla really was one of the first inventors of wireless electricity. He really, they killed him because of that.
It was a black man who invented it, right? Light.
Well, no. I'm not the light. I don't know. You talking about maybe that perfected the light bulb, but the wireless aspect of electricity was Tesla. This motherfucker was having wireless connections before anything was thought of. He was powering up light bulbs off the ground from doing shit, from channeling electricity from the universe. And they seen his notes and shit. They killed him. They took his notes, and now all of a sudden you don't hear a lot about his notes. I went to New York.
But that's the whole thing, that because now that you mentioned that, is that these people with these big beautiful minds that is creating things that understands that just because I created it doesn't mean I have to charge an arm and a leg for it, or they created it from waste products. They're taking those people are going missing. You know why? Because they want those people's brains, like you said, because you agree with what's his name, Elon Musk's idea of implanting a chip in people's heads.
He's already doing it, Neuralink.
Oh, but I don't want no part of it.
I can't wait.
Oh,
I really can't, because
we should have a choice.
you will. And the beauty of it though, is set for people that has epilepsy, seizures, PTSD, all types of mental disabilities. They actually had a major breakthrough with a device called, they took a fucking a virus from, I want to say a rabies virus, and they regenerated it, and they mapped out the brain of a human, to where they know the roads to fire this, to fire that, to turn this up, to turn that down, to where if you have a little problem focusing, they're able to turn your focus, what they would call those, they fire, and they hit each other, but they turn them up, and you'll focus more. If you have a problem with seeing, a problem with walking, you'll be able to walk. It's people that's using this Neuralink right now that's able to use just their brain to control everything on their computer. They're actually coming up with the idea too of having it to where you're able to completely control the robot Optimus.
So somebody else
With your
would
mind.
have control over that.
Over the
Right?
robot.
You know that, right?
Somebody what?
Somebody would have control over that. Over
How would you-
your mind. Somebody would have control over that.
I think I would like to have, at the level I'm at, I would like to play with it. I'm comfortable with it. It take nuts and time though. But you have to understand that been there, done that, ready for that.
To be honest with you, because this is a lot of things that we don't even need technology for. Because if I think about something and I touch my phone, before I could even finish typing it, my phone is already gonna think of what I was thinking about, And unfortunately, for people who have those kind of disabilities, they have, of course they have certain technologies they can have, but everything and everybody probably won't get cured. I don't know, but you know what, the only reason why I probably would say, yeah, go ahead, sure, go on with the Elon Musk is project or whatever, is because it's prophesied. Huh? It's prophesied.
Well, I believe that was something cunning too that they did. Like I said, as far as I love the Lord, I love the Bible. That was my greatest book I ever read. It made the greatest impact on my life. I believe that it should be mandatory for kids to read it at some grade level. Not so necessarily on a religious aspect, but as a learning tool.
Yeah, because this was the first tool that people was given. I call this the book of life. Because in order to understand my own life and my own awakening, I had to come here. And when I came here, everything that I had awakened to was in Scripture. So, and my kid now, and I feel so bad because when they started to take the Bible out of homes, which is because your generation, and I was talking to my auntie who's, I think she's 62, 63, something like that. They were made to go to church. Regardless on if y'all wanted to go or not, y'all had to go. It wasn't no option given to you, right? Now, and and I love that. I love that. Y'all probably didn't like it back then, but it made y'all better though. It made y'all better, even if you look back on it. Because like, if I look at my life now, baby, my mama wasn't nothing to play with. But now that I look back on it, I might have didn't like it when I had to go through it, but it made me a better person because I'm not out here doing stuff that people who didn't have that authoritative figure in the household does. You know what I'm saying? And so when we started to take that out of the way we grew up is why the generations after us, a couple of generations beyond me, is they're dying, and they're dying at a massive rate than older people because they wasn't made to go to church or they weren't made to read the Bible. Regardless if you want them to go to church or not, like, let's just take that part out of or set that aside.
That's where I think we, as my generation of raising kids, erred, because my generation was forced to go. And I made in my mind that I was not going to force my kids to go. Like
let's take going to church aside. Let's put that aside, okay? Because you don't have to go to church to know who God is. Mm-hmm. But that's just another way to understand Scripture, is to go and get that knowledge from somebody who is, older or already know it. But because they took this out of homes is the reason why the younger generation is lawless.
And also they systematically destroyed the structure of the home. When you take the man out of the home of raising the child and being in the father and the mother's position, you automatically setting up for disaster. They know that.
Now, wait a minute. Did the system do that or did the man do that?
I'm going to blame system and man because both play part. At the end of the day, I'm like the Venus Project aspect of it, or Mark Passio aspect, as far as computer programming. He believed this: if I have the right hardware, it'll do whatever task I ask it to do. If I get some hardware that's damaged, abused, being mistreated, in a system that it sees evil thrive, what the fuck do you expect for that to produce? it's not gonna produce nothing like productive to that community. But if you want something productive to that community, you have to have a community that produces shit that's worthy of that. And if you ask any like computer programmer, that, hey man, why don't you hook this new Windows up to this old Apple and see if it'll work? They'll laugh. Like, come on, that's not it. The gigabytes ain't even nowhere near.
Okay.
Now we're on quantum computers. So if you can't expect a human, and I believe, like Jock said, a human is programmable. You can take a human baby and raise it a black one and raise it with white racists. Treat it just like it's white racist. It will be a black racist. If you take a white baby and raise it with blacks, and black hate whites and treat that baby the same, it'll be a white baby hating blacks. They wouldn't even know. Because it's brought up in an environment that way. If you bring it up in an environment, it's gonna adapt to that environment.
We shouldn't be in our homes teaching children that there is a separation. There is no separation in this 3D reality, this matrix. There is a separation, because why they, like, when I go in, I fill out an application, right? And they want to know my race. Why do you need to know my race? That's not important.
No, it's not. And then they don't even have the right race. I got black, like, I'm African. I'm like, me personally.
I got to check black, and I ain't no need.
It just be
That's idiotic. But anyways, I just feel like they're taking the heart away from things, and I don't. When I go and I went to religion, I was created a clean heart and given a heart of flesh. Now it's like, when I did my healing work, that's why I said, when I asked you that question just a few minutes ago, did the man leave or was he systematically taken out of it? And you said it is both. And that too, I agree. But that is a part of our awakening, is that we need to awaken the fact that we need to go in and heal ourselves and fix our own damn issues. And until we can fix our own damn issues, everybody, then there is no forward motion. And that is what the Venus project helps as well, is to go in and help us figure out our own damn issues.
Our weakest person in that society must be included with us in order for us to transcend.
Yeah,
That's the idea of having they call it Kirkendorf scale of civilization living. Like, if you look into how we're like 0.5. We're not even at 1.
I really believe it's a beautiful thing. I really think it's a beautiful innovation. It's a beautiful place to end up, right? But we have to do the work now, as far as breaking down and tearing down the illusion that all of these elites. Yes.
That's we're the founders.
We have to do that for our grandkids' kids.
So they can have that peace.
Yeah.
That idea of that Venus project is the idea to me. Like, people gonna say, well, they're gonna be lazy, they're not gonna want to do any. That's bullshit. That's just like when they said, if you go to the cave woman, hey cave lady, they're gonna make a machine that you can wash your clothes with, and the cave lady's gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna have nothing else to do. Like, no, what do you mean? She'll find something to do.
Yeah, I don't understand. All people is lazy. That's bullshit. No, I just feel like some people just are giving less opportunity than another person, and that is not fair. We should not do that, no matter what type of person there is.
I agree. They engineered a virus
So if we're creating things that can get rid of, and people are doing this with natural things that's given to us by the universe. There's plants that can cure diseases. I don't.
You want to know the biggest?
We don't need medicine. Medicine is just a form of a way to make money.
A prison to put yourself in, and for them to get paid.
Yes.
Because the reality of the elite knows you heal yourself. Really, if you they done did tests with sugar pills. If your mind tells you that you healing yourself and believe it's healing, it will heal itself. They done did tests to show. They done gave people sugar pills, and they done took sugar pills and believed that those sugar pills was helping them, and they healed from cancer. And then come back, tell them that, hey, your cancer came back, and they believe they got it. And by them believing it, the cancer came back. They got sick again. What you believe, and this is what science today is starting to prove more and more. What you put in, whatever you want in your line, if you want to believe it, and you can believe and achieve it, you can reach that. Because that's an ordained gift from God.
In some cases, but if a person have, what is it? I don't know, epilepsy.
Epilepsy.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but is that when you hit like hunched over like this?
Yeah.
Okay, but so I don't think there is no way that you can cure it because their mind isn't strong enough to be able to cure themselves from epilepsy.
I don't know how that might work. I'm not sure, but I believe every human is born with the ability to have a conscious awareness, and that's all you need to be aware. Now,
some people's brain isn't developed
might not be
enough
to the level of awareness of a God or an angel, but of a kid understanding right and wrong, good and bad. Might not understand multiplication, calculus, but he know how to add 2 plus 2. You might not do.
I don't know about that.
But I believe though, this is the old beliefs from some very wise men that's been performing the greatest acts on earth. They believe that your body is an instrument of healing. It's an instrument of all in all, because it's a part of the all, just a fraction of it. It's for you to remember that you are a part of the all. And
so you believe that we're all one, we're all connected
in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
In like what way? In the way of the mind or vibrations, or
the way of processing, understanding, visualizing, experiencing experiences, visualizing experiences.
Because.
Well, it's a different experience. We all experience experiences, whether this one where I lost my cousin or you lost your grandma, or it's the way that we experience it is different than any other creature. We have conscious, we have awareness, and some of us choose to neglect it and refuse to not agree with it, but at the end of the day, the process is still the same. They bleed the same, they eat the same, they shit the same.
Okay, so now how can we, with being all connected in some sort of way, how could we come together and say, hey, you know what? We need to make a change going forward so that our children's children, and our grandchildren's children could live in a better place, because we should not be fighting. We should not be going to war. It's too many deaths happening for preposterous reasons, that a person that is compassionate or empathetic like me, we don't need to be.
I don't even watch news no more because
I thought I was the only one. I stopped watching it. I stopped watching it because every time I turn on the news, my heart is getting broken. Like, nobody is okay. Yeah. Understand. Somebody dying of like
it's just been ridiculous.
And even some wrecks could be avoided because, like, I mean, but like people are just dying, and I'm just so tired of seeing it for just no damn reason for situations that could be avoided. Like people going to get blowed up and stuff like that.
My thing is when I see those in power, those in leadership, not taking the lead and taking the back seat. When I know you've been taught better than that, you've been raised better than that. I mean, especially with certain aspects of talking about deceased people before you have full information on the person. You don't degrade a citizen of your country and you don't understand what's going on, especially when you got body cameras, visual cameras showing what we perceive as complete injustices. And then when you have,
Yeah, because some stuff isn't a threat. Like they're just doing
it's not
stuff
it's
just
not
to be
even a
doing
threat. It's
it.
like you putting yourself in a way to try to make a threat. And it was, if you looked at the first, he tried to, the officer that shot old girl, he intentionally tried to place himself in the direction of that car several times. If you watch it, he tried to do it in the back at first until the lady, her girlfriend, started recording him and said, "Yeah, those license plates the same. We don't change." But he was waiting for her to try to move in and saying he bumped her so he could shoot her from the back. But then he went right around to the front and went there and shot the lady like that. I get it. I understand. She did kind of bump him. He wasn't in danger, in my opinion.
I mean, but damn, I mean, some of these officers be provoking people to freaking do the stuff that they do. Like, I'm human with human emotions, just like anybody else. If, for whatever reason, don't provoke me. I mean, don't provoke me to bring out my dark side.
Yeah, like you.
But still, I mean,
you're not supposed. It's supposed to be
them people need to
de-escalation.
be trained. First of all, people just
You train to
because-
de-escalate. You're not trained
right.
to escalate situations.
And that's a part of their training is to de-escalate to something. That's just like civilians. I have to de-escalate the situation before I can just kill somebody. I have to de-escalate it. Then I have to be opposed of a threat. And then I have the right to put somebody down if I feel threatened after I have done my work. So if we got that teaching, I know they got that teaching. Why are they not being held accountable for the things that they're doing?
Because I believe at a certain level, certain age, maybe those like around that age, up around 60 and above, just ain't no way to change them. In order for the 50s and 45s and to make that decision to say, hey man, we can come together on religion, or actually make it to where we teach religion in school and put it in a place with science and combine it some way to have it intertwined to where you're using it properly better than what's going on now. But until then, them 70-year-old hard heads, they not willing to do that. It's like my dad and them, they've been so stuck on waiting on the Lord. And that's one of the biggest like.
But if it but because I mean I get how you whatever, but in my opinion with my grandparents and stuff, I know y'all had hell growing up, and my grandpa gets on my last nerve. But I love him. He's so funny. Like, I couldn't imagine, like, being in the same household as him growing up. Because the way he's so strict. But, I mean, I appreciate it. And I think that's what I had to learn is that, growing up in my household, my mama didn't play. She was strict as heck. But if I look back on it like, dang, mama, I really appreciate you. And I think that there's some people, because that's why it came to like years ago where they saying, well, don't put your hands on your child. No, or you're going to get CPS involved and you're going to go to jail for putting your hands on your children. But, I mean, just like God does us when we acting up, we got to pay for that.
Yeah.
So
I learned though a remedy. You need to do both. You need to talk and whoop some ass.
That too.
But after a certain age, shit, you really shouldn't have to. You better be smart enough to not get caught. Like or shit or don't like with me and my dad, I smoke weed every day. That nigga never knew I smoked weed until somebody told him they seen me smoking. I've been smoking every day since I was 12 years old until I got 16. He caught me, and somebody told him. Ever since then, he'll be like, "You must be fucked up like Daddy. I've been smoking for 3 years now, and you just not saying."
Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, I used to puff a little something when I was back in, you know what I'm saying, back in the day. And every time I would go around my mama, she always had something to say. Like, but come on, mama. At this point, you know I'm high. Why are you messing with me? Like, leave me alone. You just picking. Like, be quiet.
We couldn't even go around. Boy, I done went around Jim High, man. That nigga was woo. Shit.
Man, no, my mama just used to pick with me. Like, she like be bucking her eyes in my face, like trying to see if I'm high or something.
She know y'all. She giving it to y'all easy, but it's still hard because she know what she what she is. You get your ass whooped for not eating all your food.
But no, I was older when I started smoking. I wasn't no kid. Like when I started smoking, like it was like. My mama couldn't really tell me anything. And if I would have got caught smoking and then there was back in those times where everybody had to say we was a part of the village. Everybody, all the aunties in the you know what I'm saying, in our hood and the uncles and stuff. Oh, you better not do that. I'm whooping you, and then I'm gonna tell your mama, and then your mama gonna whip you behind. When we took that away from the world, man, the world just got chaotic.
I believe so. I believe we let the world go by
because the system told us don't touch them children. That was part of it. But then it got to a point where a certain generation was like, no, Big Mama better not touch my kids type
And then they, like I say, a lot of it, like with me, I never had that problem because me being a daddy, I've never. But me not being there, that's what I know, like, the baby, like, they'll get some cockiness, especially if it's in an unstable environment that's not producing the best situations ideal for the kid.
I get that.
So if you got a parent that's growing up by herself and she not all the way on her A shit, she might not be perfect. She might have a little weed problem, a little pill problem, whatever problem she got. But whatever that problem is takes away from time with the kid that the parent and the two parents should have together. And that causes...
We need to definitely bring back two-parent households and structure.
Oh yeah, that's a key.
The word, please.
That's a key. Please. I grew up out of 5 friends. There's 5 of us. I was the only one with a daddy. My daddy raised all of us. He was daddy. He was a daddy to me, and all my partners seen how he was a daddy to me. They knew how to be a daddy because of my daddy.
Yeah.
He was their daddy. Yeah. He really
my mama was like that too. Oh, I used to love the 90s. My mama was the mama to everybody on the block. You know what I'm saying? Like when something would go on, all the kids would run to my mama. Yes, I loved it. And they become to be, because we had them type of, it's like, that is a lost art.
Yeah.
It's a lost art. Because, that's your kids. That's your kids. I ain't dealing with your kids. Man, I don't give a daggone who kids them is. I love and respect and adore children just like they are my own. If I see them messing up, I'm getting them in line.
Man, kids to me the only innocent aspect of humanity left.
That's true. But we gotta keep them. I'm like with humans, regardless of what I'm going through, and I'm gonna say this because I know that this is to be a thing that could possibly work, because we're not given the best opportunities. We don't have the best environment. We don't have. I could be, as a single mother, going through something so deep. Like when I went through my spiritual way, you saw me crying. I mean, like, dang, I didn't know what was happening, but. So that my weight wouldn't crush her. Here, baby. Yeah. Go read this. I'm going to give you the chapter. To keep her at peace. her mind and her heart at peace, so that what I'm going through don't crush her.
Yeah, you got a special blessing upon you. I seen it when I finally looked at it. I was like, I'm gonna review it, and what I seen a blessed child on her journey of greatness. But what I want to add to your journey is confidence that you are a child of God, and don't let nothing ever get you to think that grace was not there. That grace was strong enough. Wherever the sin dwelt, grace abounded much more. So you don't have no worries about pleasing or displeasing God. Just keep being transformed with your awareness in your mind and keep trying to be better. Don't worry about the little small shit. Even though you slip, whatever. That does not mean you don't love God. And that don't mean he don't love you.
Well, let me tell you why I was crying though, because well, I should work. I had to work on my confidence more, right? I mean, everybody. Sometimes I go through those periods of times where I'm not as confident as I want to be, but when God gives you a revelation, it for somebody who's new to this. It could be hard to know what I can share and what I can't share. You know, if God showed me something, this is some stuff that I shouldn't even know. How do I know what I know? I don't know what I don't know how I know. But God, I came to realize that God showed me this. Now it's like, damn, I'm battling with what I can reveal and what I can't reveal. Like, I know some secrets. It's like, do I share those secrets? Do I help
The
people?
universe, like I said, once you get, I'm learning to I talk different. The universe, when you realize you were put in a box, so not only a curse from your beliefs to your language will put you in a curse. Your words are powerful. Once you realize that you are one with God and you are in his image, you create with your words, that if you constantly keep saying a bunch of negative things about yourself, eventually, over time of compiling up these negative ideas about yourself, it's going to collapse. So at the end of the day, I work how I talk to myself. The universe, God, all. How could I be one with the all and want something? I don't want for nothing. I got everything I need. When I desire something, I am aware of it. I notice it. I'm aware of it, notice it, but I don't tell the universe, oh, I want that. Oh, I need to get that. Because that's telling the waiter, hey, man, I'm hungry, and I sure want to stay hungry. The universe gonna say, you sure right? Let me bring you an empty plate. You say you good, huh? You good? You okay, shit, you good. Let me show you. You sure lives good. Let me send you some more of these plates you like. You say you good. You know you need this. Oh, let me show you how you need it some more. Let me show you how you need it. I'm gonna keep showing you how you need it. You say you want it. Let me show you how you keep saying you want it. You'll never get it. That's the trap. They teach you to mentally curse yourself by words. This shit gets that deep. So
do I not talk? Do I just keep it within and just
what I do,
raise my vibrations so I can attract what I want?
They tell you breathe before anything. Take 2-3 seconds to breathe and think. It's okay to feel it. It's okay to feel it. You can't, but when you get to speaking it and believing in it and bringing life to the entity, that's the problem when you're on that level. It's all right to feel it. You just say, okay, I feel you, I see you up in there, but you need to go on away from me. Go on, get back. Leave me alone. I don't agree with you. You don't say, yeah, I sure am tired. I feel like I'm about to die, girl.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. So a part of because I one of the stages is called exiting from the media, the mind, and the program.
Yeah. Getting
and you're in a void space where you just
family and everything.
and yourself.
Friends.
Oh man, all that was removed last year. I mean, I got my world rocked upside down. But I
It's
see the
supposed to be.
beauty in it. Yes, I see the beauty in it. It was supposed to happen for
What?
me to recreate. Now I'm rebuilding my life, and I'm not scared to say that I'm rebuilding my life. Not that I'm not waiting or hurting for anything, but I'm rebuilding my life. Now, the whole thing is that because I want to help people evolve and help people go through to navigate their spiritual awakening, because a part of it is going within, not
To
just
me,
connecting here.
That's the main part. First, to me, is the within. The battle is within.
And it take people years to fight that battle that I did in 6 months.
I'm just getting to the controlling of myself. Like, I see how God used my relationship to use it to where He knew if I'm normally, especially if I feel like I done invested enough and explained enough, and you disobey or disagree with, and I'm suspect to be talking some of the rudest, disrespectful shit that I swore I never would do. And
No, listen. Me, see, that's the thing. I'm trying to understand, like, okay, well, God got me in this to do something with this, because I've never been that person. Like, first of all, man, you're not finna, in my relationships, you're not finna stand up here and argue with me. You can take your behind out that door, go have you a nice little drink, go sit down, chill, and then we can approach this at a better manner. But we ain't finna stand here and argue. So I've always been controlled within my. But when I became awake and just been more aware, it's like, damn, I didn't need this awareness. But I guess I had to go in and heal some things. That's why I say that this came from someone else. Like, you ever heard of, you know what soulmates are? Do you believe in soulmates?
I believe in that.
Do you believe in, have you ever heard of twin flames?
No, what is it?
Okay.
A twin bane?
Twin,
Uh,
a twin flame.
no, but I guess it's a dual hot flame, huh? Two
Yeah.
people burning together.
And you burn. Okay.
That must mean y'all
It's
toxic.
well,
Fire together.
it's a very intense relationship, and it's so intense that both people will run from it. They will. So they say that it's a soul split in two when you realize that you're one person, but the other person is the other half of you.
Actually, like, okay,
But they come to realize that, give you that soul shock to realize that there's some inner work you need to do within yourself to heal.
I'm actually experiencing something like that. Like, my favorite pastor, may I remind you too, because he taught me that grace abided more than the sin. Uh, man,
Take a second and look it up.
let me see. Oh, I just can't think of his name. You look at the Chinese pastor. There's only a Chinese one got a mega church up in damn, I can't believe it. He's my
Wang
favorite.
Yi?
Negative. Mm, Chinese pastor that preaches grace, pastor of grace. Um, and he was telling me to stop fighting. Man, what's his name? I gotta think of his name.
Joseph Prince?
Joseph Prince. Joseph Prince.
Okay, now start.
Okay, Joseph Prince on the TV while I'm going through this convulsion stage. And to me, I'm not actually feeling much pain. I feel as if something's caught in my throat, kind of choking me on it. Every time I try to get up or say something, it's just choking me and stuck in my throat. So I couldn't catch my breath, and it was getting very irritable. And I listened to Joseph Prince. He was telling me to stop fighting. The more that I fought to try to get up, the more my throat would be irritated. So I finally just gave up, like Joseph said, and just He told me, man, he made me say the Lord's Prayer. He told me if I believed in God, I was going to do amazing things and just stop fighting. Just let it go. And I let it go. But I seen myself okay. Even though I was in that place,
You
I was
had an out
okay.
of body experience. Okay.
And then actually afterwards, even the outer body and the inner body was kind of together, because at one point I was able to kind of like send from the bedroom to the living room to the just seeing what was going on, but I actually still was in the bedroom. And I seen, and it got to a point that, okay, I was at a door, and when I got to this door, I knew if I opened that door, I couldn't come back. Once I opened that door, it was no coming back to that side. And I was just made a rational decision to do that shit a little fast. I remember taking the thought then saying, man, I looked at my little girl. I was like, damn, man, you leaving back your kids, and shoo, you sure you want to do this? And I'm like, hey, I'm going to take this. I'm just open this door. And I opened the door. It was a woman. I was at a state of like, what? Look at me. Look me in my eyes. She didn't want to look me in my eyes. And I walked to her and made her, look me in my eyes. And reluctantly, she looked, and I caught a glimpse. And it was the beautifulest orange, reddish tint, fire, eyelid-like type